My father had a great friend when he was a teenager. His name was Shushu. And Shushu went to Holland just like my father did. And Shushu was different from my father in that instead of staying on a farm and trying to learn all these agricultural skills, he was traveling all over the place to Switzerland, throughout Holland, into Belgium to see what routes for freedom he could find for Jews that they could flee out of Holland to go to these countries. And Shushu learned a lot by going to so many places. And he came to the conclusion that the only way that the Jews could survive in Holland was to hide. Nobody had heard of this concept of hiding. Who hears of a whole people going into hiding? But Shushu somehow grasped the idea, and he met with my father one afternoon in 1942 and said, "You have to hide." And my father didn't know what that meant, and Shushu explained it carefully and talked with him and walked with him until my father was entirely persuaded. And then he went through the stages of going into hiding, which I discuss in the book. And once he was ready to hide, someone sent him somebody to show him where to hide. That someone, whom we never will know who it is, was part of a group, a whole organized group to help Jews who wanted to hide. And I came up with this idea of understanding that whole concept by thinking of hiding as a triangle. It has 3 parts, minimum. Number 1, the person who wants to hide. That person has to be brave, has to be committed, has to be willing to endure all sorts of horrible situations. Number 2, the person who is hiding them. That person has to be brave, has to be committed, has to be honest, and has to train his family not to expose that there's a hider in their midst. And the 3rd person is the perpetrator, in this case the Nazis. That those people will pursue and pursue with the idea of catching the individual and killing them. So it was a game of hide and seek, or of nerves and tension among the hider, the rescuer, and the person who was the perpetrator. And my father, through his experience of 3 years in total hiding, never seeing the light of day, who learned how to develop the tasks for successful hiding, how to keep his sanity when he could never talk above a whisper, to keep his physical body intact when he couldn't go to the bathroom until the people living in the house flushed their toilet so it wouldn't sound like another person. How to keep himself sane and entertained. How to use his mind to have fantasies that will bring him to a better place. And the perpetrator, who has to be tricked into not knowing what is going on.